see people coming live. Anyone there? I've seen 2 people joining. At least let's have about 10, then I'll introduce myself. Alright, I've seen another person joining us. We have 4. I'm waiting at least 10, then I'll be able to introduce myself and start the whole session. Yeah, we had 5. We've gone back to 4. Okay. I think we can start. They'll find us along the way. I'll introduce myself. I know I've already been introduced by the admin, but I can still re-echo. My name is Kunda Lufungulo Ching'ambu. I'm from Zambia, and I run Cake Zambia. I've been in the cake business for some time now. This should be my 18th year. Yeah. So basically that about myself, and I'm based in Lusaka. Before we talk much, I want to do a small demo. My friend last week did cake and she decorated it with fresh cream. I want to do with buttercream, that I can show you how. So I'll start from the scratch in terms of decorations. The cakes have already been baked, so we'll get on the frosting part of it. And I have with me the base. There's the base, and then got a chocolate cake, and I've got some vanilla cakes that were already baked in the morning. The vanilla cakes, rich cakes, and then for the chocolate cake, it's equally a rich cake, muddy chocolate cake. So we're going to, it's three layered. So I'll show you how I do tall cakes, how I go about in doing the tall cakes. So first and foremost, we have to make sure that you're using a clean base. I've washed my hands already. So one tip I do for the tall cakes, in order for it not to move, I always start by making a hole in the middle. I estimate the middle. Yeah, so I make a small hole. So if the cake is big, I would use a big dowel. But since I'm using small cakes, so I'm just gonna use the kebab stick, but a thick one, so that the cake is not moving, or even if it moves, it will still be intact. And since it's three-layered, I want it to be straight. So I'm gonna start with first we'll start with the vanilla. I'll put vanilla, and then put my, so I did buttercream. This is my buttercream, already made. It's homemade. So use for my buttercream, I use 1:2 ratio. So butter should be 1, and then the icing should be 2. So if you're using butter, which is 500 grams, your icing must be 1 kg, and make sure that your icing is saved. And then the butter must be cold, like just from the fridge, so it should be cold, so that you can be able to get something like this. It shouldn't pour, it should be like this. And then when you want to make it soft, I always use Beckel's, and it tastes nice with it. And then for flavors, I use this clear vanilla and tiny strawberry. So it's also a clear strawberry essence. So we'll start by I have to put a thin layer on my base. Where I'm going to place the bottom layer. So this helps the cake not to move. So I'm doing this mainly for the beginners, because you'd be wondering how people make cakes and deliver them and they still don't move. They get to the place where they're supposed to go without moving. And of course, how you go about in creaming. So that's my first layer. I'm gonna fill it up. So it's so hot. So when you're filling up, when it's this hot, you just put a bit, don't put too much of the filling, because you don't want it to bulge. You just want something that will help to sandwich the cakes. So I always put my fresh cream because I love it. It tastes more nice. I'd already put my essence, so if you are with me here, you could smell you could get the flavor of the strawberry and the vanilla. the clear vanilla. Yeah, so here we go. So this is how we go about in doing the filling. So we're gonna do this cake. We'll do the crumb coating, we'll do the creaming, and then after that we are going to do a chocolate cake that we're going to put on the cake to just add value to the cake, so that it doesn't go just as a vanilla cake or just as vanilla and chocolate. You want to add value to it, and when you add value, it means also the price of it goes up. So there is our chocolate cake. As you can see, it's quite rich. It's moist. I've already put the syrup in them so that they remain moist for some time. So I'm adding another filling here. So like I said, don't put too much. And then if you want to add other type of filling like lemon curd, the black forest filling, you put here in the middle, and then you pipe outside, just outside the rim, you pipe your buttercream so that the filling for black forest or the lemon curd or whatever strawberry filling do not seep off when you start creaming. But today we're just doing all buttercream. Okay. So there you go. So you have to make sure that it's fitting. Our chocolate cake looks a bit bigger, but we'll have to make sure that it fits nicely when we do everything. So after this, supposed to put now our stick in between. Remember, I made a hole on the base so that this is not moving, and I also put 1 or 2 so that they're just together. So you measure on how far this should go. So my stick is here, so I'm gonna measure it should just be like there, just up there. Make sure it's not protruding. Someone may hurt themselves, especially if you don't tell the client that you have put the kebab sticks or the doughs inside. So you have to make sure that it's not protruding at all. So like I said, I made a hole, so I'm just gonna push my stick inside. So as you can see, it's not moving, despite me moving it, it's not moving at all. So at this point, I'm going to do the crumb coating or the dirty creaming. So those who are just joining us, I'm doing a cake. This is vanilla, chocolate, vanilla, that's 3 layers. A top cake, and we're going to put a chocolate cage, and we're also going to make some chocolate balls that we're going to decorate on it so that we put more value to our cake. And the more value you put to the cake, it means you have to price it even higher when selling. It can't sell like a normal ordinary cake. So I was telling those who are with us when we just started that I always add a bit of fresh cream, this type, to my buttercream so that it's creamy and it tastes very nice also. And then I always add the vanilla essence, the clear essence, and also the strawberry essence, just a tiny bit of it. Those are my secret ingredients to my buttercream. So I'm just mixing it so that it can be nicely soft for me to easily go around and be able to do the dirty creaming of our cake. So like I said, when you put the kebab stick or the dough in the middle, your cake will not move as you're creaming. So this is buttercream. Nana did fresh cream last week, so I decided to go for buttercream this week so that those who are into buttercream can also learn something from it. So the recipe for buttercream, I'd say that it's 1 to 2. Your butter should be 1, and then your icing should be 2. So if you're using butter 250 grams, your icing should be 1 kg. So if you feel your cake is moving a bit, you can still add more inside. So these are just ordinary kebab sticks, but the thicker type. I get them from the Chinese shops. So I didn't measure this nicely, that's why I'm struggling now to cut. Okay. Should be able to do now. Yep. So it's always good to bake your cakes much earlier so that they cool down nicely, and then they're also easier to cream when they're cool. And if possible, bake them a night before or early in the morning if you're creaming them in the evening like this time, and then keep them in the fridge once they cool down. I'm still adding more cream. So this is what we call crumb coating or dirty icing, whichever word you prefer to use. So there we go with our crumb coating. So at this point, we'll take our cake to the fridge for about 10 minutes, and then after 10 minutes, it will come back so that we can be able to put the final cream, and thereafter we'll put the cage on it, the chocolate cage. Hey, please have a hand. Please put this cake for me in the fridge. Okay, so we're done with our crumb coating. Now we'll wait for the cake to just cool down like for 10 minutes so that the cream gets together with the cake. And it helps when you come now to do the final creaming. The crumbs will not be coming out. The cake will come out clean. The cream will look very clean on the cake. So yeah, like I was saying, my name is Kunda. Since I started, a number of people had not yet joined in. So my name is Kunda. I'm based in Lusaka, Zambia, and I run Cake Zambia. I'm one of the bakers in Zambia, and it was a privilege to get to chat with the admins of this group if I could join in and share 1 or 2 tips on how to run a cake business. Like I said earlier, I started my business about 8 years ago, 8 to 9 years ago. But seriously getting into business, first it was more of a hobby. So I would bake at home, and slowly people started asking if I could help out, if I could make a cake for them, and I didn't know how to price them. So most of the times I would just like do it for fun or as a hobby, like I said, until I realized that, oh wow, I can actually make some extra cash from this business. So that's how I started the cake business. And few people started coming in. Those who tasted my cakes, they started coming in to make their orders. So if you are just starting your business now, there are a few tips I would want to share with you that I've learned in my cake business journey. First and foremost, you need to have a passion for this business. If you're coming in this business just because you've heard that no, cake bakers make money, then you're not in the right place, because the business can be stressful. There are times when we get to sleep at 03, and for those who are in formal employment, you have to wake up by 5 to prepare for work. I did that for like 3 years, 4 years whilst I was still in formal employment and doing cakes. I would sleep as late as 03, wake up by 05, because you need to be in the office by 8. And others are still doing it, and you're a mother, you're a wife. So there was just so much. But there's still others who still do it. And why are they still doing it? Because they've got passion for it and they're managing it. So if you can manage, well and good. But then coming back to those who are just starting their business, one of the things you need to know, if you want to get into the cake business, you need to be passionate about it. It should be from deep down your heart. When you're doing it, you should be enjoying when you're doing it. It should bring a lot of fulfillment in it as you do it. Each time a client comes and tells you, okay, so we want you to do this type of a cake, they pick up the cake and they give you a review of it. It should be something that should be wow to your heart and should make you look forward to baking another cake for them. Then for those who are coming in just for money, you'll be frustrated, because there are times when we've done cakes because probably you're undercharged, but you still have to do it because you already quoted the client, and there's no way you can go back and tell them, oh please, I didn't quote you accordingly, the price is supposed to be this and that. There are times when we've had to let go of that. We just do the cake with all the love. You put in all your love, so that even in the cake you can see that this cake, there was so much love that was put in it, from the way it's looking inside, the way it's tasting, and just the outside of it. So you need to put in so much. So you're not in this business just for money. You're in it because you also love doing it. So if you're just starting this business, make sure that you love doing cakes, love baking, you love learning, and you like making people happy, because cakes do make people happy, and people order cakes, usually it's on happy occasions. Then the second thing I would want you to take note of, if you're a new beginner, is you need to identify yourself and identify your specialty. There are so many types of cakes. So there are those who are into sponge cakes, and also those who are into rich cakes. You may be someone who don't know what a sponge cake is. A sponge cake, usually it's the one that you just, it usually has 3 ingredients. It could just be eggs, sugar, and flour. Then a flavor according to it, yeah. But then the rich cakes, we use butter in rich cakes. We use butter, or we use margarine, or we use oil. Those are the rich cakes. So you need to identify which type of cakes you want to go for. And for those who still don't know which one is a rich cake, which one is a sponge cakes, those we usually find in the supermarkets are sponge cakes. And yeah, very few people want to get a cake from someone who's doing the cake business from their home or their own shop to go and buy a sponge cake. Usually they would get sponge cakes from the supermarkets. So if you are someone who's just specializes in sponge cakes and you're doing it from home, I would encourage you to learn the rich cakes too, because a client does not want to taste the same cake they tasted in a supermarket to also taste it from a shop nearby. Yeah. Then in terms of so you need to find your own recipes. And if you come from a family where there are bakers, there are always those nice recipes that have been passed on from one generation to another. Treasure them, try them out, see how you can improve them and make them be the trend of today. Always treasure those old recipes, the grandmother's recipes, my mom's recipes. Those are just nice. They can't be compared to some of the recipes around. So have your own recipe, and if you download something, make sure that improve it to your taste and to your liking. And how do you know that it's the best taste? Ask for reviews from your clients. Once they buy a cake from you, ask them, call them after a day or so. How did my cake taste? Was it nice? Anything I should improve on? And take note of those reviews. Don't have that pride of having your own recipe. I always tell people that, yes, recipes you can share, but then there are some secrets you can keep to yourself, just like Coca-Cola has managed to keep their secrets for 100 years. So why can't you make it your own? Even if you download one, make sure that the one you've downloaded, you've added one or two things that identify who you are. Then the other point I would want to talk about, for those who are just starting business, apart from the recipes, also come up with a logo that will also be able to identify you, and get a nice logo from a professional designer rather, so that your logo should be able to give your clients that wow factor. Just by seeing the logo, they should be able to tell, wow, so much was put in this, and we can see how it's doing, that this person must be someone who's serious with their work. So come up with one. Don't get those which are from the internet. A number of them are using them. So please get your own, find someone, pay something. If something is worth it, pay for it. At least it's yours at the end of the day. Then we'll talk about the pricing soon. I'm sure about 10 minutes has passed now. We can start creaming our cake so that we continue where we ended. So we remember what we did with our cake. We started with making a hole in the base so that we can be able to keep our cakes in shape. And then we did our crumb coating. So now we're going to cream our cake. And then after that, we'll do a chocolate cage. So we're going to melt some chocolates. We've got some chocolates here. So I've got some chocolate chips. I don't know if you're able to see them from here. Yeah. So we're going to melt these chocolates, the melting chocolate or cooking chocolate. So we're going to melt them, and then after melting them, we're going to do a cage. And when we do the cage, I'll show you how we go about it. So follow me. Please, if you have questions, how long can a cake be kept before it's frosted? Well, the cake can be kept as long as it's in the freezer. It can still be okay. If you keep it in the freezer, like for fresh cakes, you keep it in the freezer. You can keep it like for a week or so. But I always love fresh cakes. I always love cakes when they're baked. Like just after a few hours, within 24 hours, I should frost them. I don't like cakes that have been done for weeks or months. But then if it's in the freezer, it can't go bad. It's just that the taste will not be so good if you keep it for long. So probably I would say that you just keep it like for a week, not more than that. But then if someone has bought a cake and they can't finish all of it, probably like this size, and you stay alone, and you know that you obviously you can't finish all this alone. So you can keep it for, my cakes do stay. I don't put any preservative in it, but it can stay in the fridge for 2 weeks. Not in the freezer, just the fridge. It can stay in the fridge for 2 weeks. Okay, so I was adding the fresh milk so that I could, like I said, it's one of the tips I put in my buttercream so that it's nicely smooth. As you can see, it's nicely smooth and the taste is awesome. Just in case you didn't see the milk, the one I use, this is the one I use. So like I said, always come up with something that you know your clients will love. So I had to come up with a better buttercream than just buttercream and just butter and icing. I had to improve it in one or another. So there are different ways of frosting. Others would use a piping bag. I prefer to do this way. So whichever works well for you, at the end of the day, we still have to reach the same destination. May I please have some hot water? And I can't see my spade for creaming. Slowly our cake is coming up. So it's quite hot. So make sure when you're making your buttercream, it should be cold, almost hard, not soft. Otherwise, the buttercream will come out very soft, and at times it's also grainy because of that. So make sure it's very cold, very cold, almost hard, as in hard, yeah. So it should be firm, basically. It should be firm and cold. Okay. Thank you. So I've got some hot water with me here. I usually use hot water when I want to do it's not enough. I need some hot water. Maybe to bring me some more. Then I'll just do that to cream it. I'm sure you're wondering what I'm using. I got this from the hardware shop. I like it because it just does the good job like that than this knife or the other ones that are provided. This one just goes straight just like that. It's the perfect tool for this for me. You can try it. You'll find it in any hardware shops or the Chinese shops from the hardware section. Okay, since we are having we are putting a chocolate cage, it really doesn't have to be so perfect. If we were not putting the cage, we would have ended here, would have made it more and more perfect. But since there'll be a cage, we won't need to make it so perfect. So I used hot water to just smoothen it up. So we're going to make now the chocolate. You can switch off the kettle for me. So we're going to melt our chocolate. May I have a bowl like this, or the one in the microwave? May I have the bowl, the one in the microwave? Thank you. Where's your bowl? Where's your bowl? So I said we're going to use some chocolate. This is the cooking chocolate that we're going to use. So we're going to melt some. So you take in the microwave, you do 30 seconds intervals. Yeah. So you do 30 seconds intervals. Can I have those flowers I got? The plastic flowers. Yeah. Please melt this for me let it melt 30 seconds. So you do 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, you do again. So at times you may not need to. Okay, so may I please have the kitchen towel? You may not need to if you're not putting a chocolate cage or something, you can put even just a flower. It should be able to do the work. So you do 30 seconds, and if it's not melted, you use another 30 seconds. If still not melted, another 30 seconds. Don't do over a minute because you don't want it to over melt. Because if it over melts, it will to harden, and you'll not be able to use it nice. It will not be able to work nicely. So at times you may not have to complicate your cake. Even a flower like this one, just make sure that the flour is clean. I usually buy them in advance, and once I buy them, I'll spray some vinegar on them to just make sure that they are okay. So you wash them, spray some vinegar before you put them on the cake, and then ultimately I also spray some vanilla essence on it so that it kills the vinegar in it. Yeah, so you can use the. I'm just trying to do my best. Yeah, so you may decide to use. So our cake is here. You may decide to just use a flour and just put there in the corner, just like that. And there you go, you've got a cake for someone. You can put your message anywhere. Or you can decide to put a picture. May I please have a picture that I just show how we put a picture in case you want to put a picture on the cake. So much you can do with the cake. But for now, our main interest is putting so as we are waiting for a picture, I can have the other one. Yes, it can be cut for me. Just one of them to be cut. Okay, so our chocolate has melted. Here we go. This is how it is when it melts. So we'll get the wax paper. So when you get your wax paper, you measure how big your cake is. Okay, about that much. Can you please have the scissors? Thank you. Yeah. So my wax paper is very big. So you've seen the melted chocolate. So this was just to show that you can also put a flower there and put some border down there, some word, and you can sell your cake. And the flower will just give a difference. Then you've also got a picture in case you want to put a picture. This is an edible picture. It has the plastic behind. You can remove the plastic and you can stick it either here on the cake, put some other decorations, and there you go. It's as simple as that. So there's so much you can do, so much creativity on the cake. So as a baker, you need to be very creative. So we are just trying to see if our paper is fine. Our size is okay. So I'm going to cut this paper because it's too big. Please have it just like this. No, I think this same one will do. It's fine. So you see, when you're pricing a cake, you have to take into consideration the time that you're taking to do a cake, the details that are there. It's not just a matter, oh, I learned how to put a flower, I learned how to put a picture, or I learned how to do the chocolate cage or something. But you also consider the time that has gone in and the ingredients. So a cake like this will not be the same price as a cake with a cage, because of course you've seen already what is going on. So you cut your paper, and I've cut the long paper like this, so we'll come and wrap there around our cake. Around our cake. I'll remove that flower. So it's just to demonstrate to you. So I'll get I love using this because when I'm done with it, I'll just dispose it. So my chocolate has melted nicely. Took about 1 minute 30 seconds. So we pour in the chocolate there. I know others use a cup to put the plastic there and all those things. I don't. So if you find that easier, please do that. So you just make a small hole there. Okay. So we'll start now making our cage here on this paper. I hope you're able to see. Please signal if you can see so that I'll be able to move the camera. So you can do different types of styles. So it's a random style, nothing specific. Just refilling our chocolates. So there we go. So you just pipe, it has to be random. It can be random, you can do it in style. So we'll let this go in the fridge for 1 minute 30 seconds as well. Then we'll come and wrap it to the cake. So let me just show using a thing. So it can, let me just show you for those that can't see. So there you go. So you melt your chocolate. You melt your chocolate. When you melt your chocolate, I measured everything. You put in the plastic. You can come up with any style. So it can even be like that. Like that. Or you can decide to go like this. Or you can go like that. Like that. And like that. You're trying to make a cage. Okay, then after you've done that, you put in the fridge for just in the freezer 1 minute 30 seconds, so that it's not too hard for you to come and wrap and remove it. If it becomes hard, I'll still show you what you can still do with it, because we are learning. So at times it can be hard and I'm not there and you don't have my number, so I'll still show you how to go about it. So we're waiting for the chocolate to get hard, to just get firm in those seconds. So, and then I've got these molds here. These are chocolate molds. So we'll make some balls, chocolate balls that we come and put on top. So they're like that. So the balls are like that. So you put them there. I'll need a hot pan, guys. Once this is done, the hot pan, since I can't move to come and do it from there, to put these balls together. So there we go. So here I'm trying to make the chocolate balls. See the chocolate balls? Yeah. So the chocolate balls are like that. We've poured our chocolate in here. And there, oh my goodness. Yeah. So we'll take this to the freezer also. This one can stay as long as you want, maybe about, but they usually get hard within 3 minutes. They are hard for you to put them together, so that we finish up our cake. Like I said, we're adding value to our cake. So it's vanilla, chocolate, vanilla, and then the buttercream. Then I'm gonna put the cage. Can I have the cage back? Yes, can I have the cage now? So we're supposed to make some more chocolates. We'll melt some more chocolate, so I can just show you with this other mold. So we'll pour some more chocolate in here, so that we have some bigger balls and some smaller balls. So you can do this with even with the white chocolate. and then you can color it according to the colors you'd want them to be. Or yeah, it looks hard. Let's see. So our cage is done. So our cage looks harder than I expected. It's too longer. It's longer than what I wanted. So, are you able to see? So we removed our chocolate from the freezer. We've wrapped it. Are we able to see? Okay. So slowly we'll remove the paper. It's perfect, huh? Perfect. To my liking. Yeah, so this other one, just make sure that it's nicely holding before you remove the paper. So these were the extra ones. So if it's too thin, it breaks. So just make sure that it's just there. Don't make it too thin. Okay. So there we go with our chocolate cage. There we go. I've got these extra ones which I'm breaking. So that's our chocolate cage cake. We still have some more chocolates. Are the balls done? So we still have some more chocolate here. You can decide to put it anywhere you want. Please melt this for me. Yeah, so the extra ones can just throw them on top like that. It's quite hot. They were almost frozen from the freezer, but now they are already melting. Are the balls ready? May I please have the balls with the pan? Huh? Are they ready? Not yet? Okay. So as we wait for the bulk, basically this is how you put your chocolate cake. Just make sure that you press it nicely. It can start from down there. If you don't want it to start down, may I please have a nozzle and the two plastic so that you can just pipe underneath here with our buttercream. So that's how our cage is looking. The big nozzle, the M1, or yeah, so I was talking about the business on how this is just a starter, things to look out for, and you have to build a good relationship with your clients. get feedback. I think that's where we ended. Get feedback from them so that you can be able to know if at all what you're making, they're liking it or not. Like I told you, I'm a fan of these. I use more of these than anything else. How am I doing with time? Do I still have time? Okay, so we've got some more chocolates. The other one you're saying couldn't see, so we'll put some more here. That thing there. So we're gonna pour some more chocolates because we want to have a lot more balls to put on our cake. These go to the freezers. I wait for the hot pan. This pan. So I just want to pipe underneath to just give it that nice finish underneath. So as usual, I'm adding my fresh cream in my buttercream. Because of the taste, I love the taste of it. Want to give a border to our cake, since just give it that nice finishing. So just any type of piping to give it that nice look. I love it. Okay, may I please have a hot pan, please? Try to keep your board clean as you're working. So the hot pan, in case you're wondering, so our chocolate balls are ready. Chocolate balls are ready. If I want to just so there's my pan. Just want to melt to help this thing. It's hot. Are you seeing what I'm doing? I'm trying to make some chocolates. You can just, that's fine. Okay, so there we go. We've got some chocolates here with us. Are the big balls ready? Got some chocolates with us. Salt. Okay. So I've got some chocolate balls with us. So you can decide to make them bigger, to color them. If you're using white, it's more nice because you can easily color them. So these, we want to put them on our cake. They're still okay. So our cake. So we want to put some. Let me see if I put it on the turntable. So I'm going to put it down so you can see. So we'll put our balls there. We'll wait for the bigger ones so that we can come and put them around here. Can I have some sprinkles, please? Those tiny silver sprinkles will do well for me. Just a bit of something here and there. Just show. Can the camera just be lifted a bit so that you can see how it's coming up on top? Just a bit. Yeah. Want to just on top. No. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, so I just wanted you to see the top of the balls. So waiting for the bigger ones, and yeah, so we'll be done with our demo. So I talked about the logo, I talked about the taste, I talked about the recipe. Those things should be able to identify you. Should have your own signature. People should know that, wow, wherever, if they go for a party, they taste a certain cake, they should be able to say, wow, did Kate do this cake? Was it done by Ada, or was it done by Flores, or is it done by Peter? Something like that. Because they know how your cakes taste. So make sure that you've got your own logo, your own taste, your own way of decorating. Not all the time they know, oh yeah, so this is a chocolate cake, oh it's vanilla, okay, so what did it? They should see something about you. And don't make it so predictable that it should be known this was done by Kunda. Yeah, by just looking at it. Always add something, be more creative so that people can, so that you can win clients. They like new trends, they like new things, just like you and me. So be on the lookout, be creative, and see what you can be able to bring in. And then the other thing I want to talk about is how to advertising your cakes. First and foremost, I'd mentioned that your cakes themselves, the taste, the logo, your packaging, your customer care should be able to advertise your cakes. If someone buys a cake from K and there's a party, they taste there, just the way the cake is looking, the cake is tasting, people should be able, when they ask, they should, oh, it's K who did the cake. No, it's B who did the cake. So that in itself should be able to advertise you that those are the cakes by this and this person. And then you also need to use a lot of social media. Social media has been very handy for me. I've grown my page to almost 30,000 likes, and it's been through Facebook, Instagram, Google. So try by all means to be as available as possible, respond to inquiries. I get a lot of questions why I don't put prices on my cakes. It's for a simple reason. First and foremost, all our cakes are custom made. So you may come and say, how much is this cake? But what you're looking for is not what is inside this cake. Probably you're looking for a vanilla cake, or you're looking for a chocolate cake. But this one has vanilla, chocolate, and vanilla. Or you're looking for red velvet. So it's always good that you ask what exactly they're looking for. And then yeah, so that's why I can't be able to put my prices on my cakes. So because you need to specifically know what they're looking for, what they want, and everything else. And then then lastly, it's the pricing. When you're just starting your business, there's a way in which we just do cakes for wooing people. Yeah, and then you get to have a lot of clients and you're excited, thinking you're making a lot of profit, and yet you're digging from your own money time and again. So I would encourage you to separate your business from your home income. Make sure that your business has its own account, and even when you're getting ingredients or anything to do with cake, if you get anything from home, let it be money that is borrowed and it should be retained. Like that, you'll be able to see your profits, your losses, and everything else. So make sure that you have a book where you write your orders, and when you're writing your orders, write the ingredients needed. It's always good to buy in bulk, and when you buy in bulk, it's much easier for you to plan for a week, for 2 weeks, or for a month. And then, like I said, when coming to prices, when we just start, we get it all wrong. So now you've started, you've seen that you can't account for the money. And you come back to sit down. So how do I go about it? So this is how you do it. First and foremost, when you're just starting this business, you've come up with a recipe, the one I told you about. Come up with the right, good recipe. Come up with a recipe, put it in an Excel sheet, and cost all your ingredients, all of them, cost them. Cost any other things that you're using for that cake. The base, the box, cost them. Put them there. And then once you put them, have the price there. Once you have the price for cost of ingredients, then as in unit prices for those ingredients. If you are using flour, 800 grams, cost how much 800 grams is. And then cost whatever things you've put. I saw I put sprinkles, these chocolates, the base, cost that. And then come up with a percentage, about 15% for overheads. Remember, you're using electricity to bake, you're using water to wash the dishes, to wash the equipment, to wash the utensils. Yeah, so all those are overheads. Then come up with your labor charge. The labor charge, that's where most of us go wrong. So for labor charge, ask yourself, how long will I take to do this cake, like the one we just did now? How long have we taken close to an hour. So what's your hourly charge, so to say? If you're in formal employment, how much would you get per hour? So yeah, so something like that. So charge accordingly. So rate that. So once you rate, then you'll be able to know how much you can be able to charge on a cake. I've noticed most of the new bakers, unfortunately, even old-time bakers, they rarely put that into consideration. Imagine you're doing a hamburger cake, baking it will take you like 2 hours, and then doing it up, the caving and everything else will take you close to 4 hours, and yet you charge just for a charge like for a cake like this. You're undercharging that cake in terms of labor, and you're not really getting your worth, so to say. So make sure you have your hourly charge in place so that you can be able to put it together with the other costs. Then when you charge for labor is not your profit. Slap in some labor, slap in your profit. Is it 10%? Is it 5%? Slap it in as well. And once that is done, so put it all together, and that should be able to give you a selling price. A lot of people just cost ingredients. I've heard others use a rule of if my ingredients costed me, for instance, it costed me $10, then my selling price should be 10 times 4, something like that. So if you calculate that and you think everything is incorporated, your overheads, your labor, your profit, well and good, use that rule. But where you just cost your ingredients and the only thing you slap in is a very small minimum amount, like a 5% of profit in that, and you feel like you're making money, then you aren't doing anything in that business. Sooner or later, you will stop because you'll be frustrated. Because the cake business, it's a business. It's supposed to pay you. It's supposed to pay for school fees. It's supposed to pay for transport. It should be able to buy its own equipment. If you're using stove, whatever stove you need, if you have to use equipments like airbrush, the microwave and all that stuff, it should be able to buy. It's a business. So make sure that all that is put in place. And so a cake like this, you would ask me, so how much would you charge for this cake? I'll need to cost it in terms of the ingredients that went in and come up with a price, of course, with the time that we put in it to do this cake. So cake business is nice. It's very nice. That's why I've been in here for close to 8 years, and I'm enjoying doing cakes. So I would encourage you to go ahead and venture in it. You've got questions, I think this is the time you're supposed to ask. Can I please have the pan? I'm sure it's hot for me to finish putting the chocolate balls. But to finish our cake. By the way, I don't have an order for this cake, so we'll see who the lucky person is on our page to get this cake. So you're putting the bigger balls. So I'm using a pan that is hot so that I can just put these together. Yeah, so you do it like that way and you just stick like that. So there we go. Our cake is now ready. It's all ready. Please, can someone come and lift the camera so that they just see on top? Yeah. So there is our cake. So like I said, you can put it down. Like I said, we've added value to this cake. Initially, it was just all white, and you can still sell it at that price, and it won't be much because it doesn't have a lot of details. So there are some clients who would call and they say, no, I want a very small cake. But then ask them, okay, you want a very small cake. What details do you want? Someone come and, oh, I want a chocolate cake, or I want you to put this and that. I want you to put fruits. It's no longer small. So in their heads, as much as they are thinking it's small, it will cost little for them. It won't, because of the details that are there. But if it's just white, like the way it was, or whatever color, without much details, yes, it will be cheaper. You put a flower there, price goes up a bit. So everything that you add on the cake should be costed, and it should be put in the final selling price. Do we have questions? I think we are almost done. Are there questions for us? Before I leave, are there questions? Any questions? Anything you didn't get? Okay, just in case you're offline and you get to see this video, please feel free to inbox for any questions. My Facebook name is Kunda Lufungulo Ching'ambu, and then for our page it's Cake Zambia. Please feel free to inbox and we'll be able to answer. Faza, how am I doing? Can we close now? Any questions for me? Thank you so much too for having me. It was a pleasure to be part of your group. I was humbled when I was approached that I could be part of Cake Gallery Zimbabwe. I'm so happy to have been part of it and to present my little knowledge that I've learned in my cake business. And to be able to demonstrate this, hoping the new bakers who had no idea about cake, the chocolate cage, and how to add value to your ordinary cake, they've learned one or two things. Thank you so much. Have a good night.